This is episode 18 of What's Been Better. This week, we're talking about showing up. Whether you have a wall up, you're unwilling to change, or you're hyper emotional, how you show up in your relationship will determine if you receive peace and true joy. If you've been here before, you know we cuss. And if you're new here, please do not get offended by how we emphasize.
Exactly.
All right, but before we get started, like, share, subscribe, do something with this episode, but do not keep it for yourself. We love reviews and we will take any of those that are positive.
Exactly. And that's a follow direction kind of thing. We don't need no negativity in this space. Thank you very much.
It's a call to action. Call to action. Well, how you doing?
I'm good, Sylvia. How are you?
I'm good. We're trying a new recording setup, so this should be interesting. I mean, I kind of like the look of it so far, and kind of easy and breezy. I'm good with it.
I'm hoping for the best, honey.
Look, all of my fingers, toes, everything crossed because. Well, anyway, let's get started.
Yes, ma'am. So, what's been better?
Okay, so I don't know. Did it rain really, really hard at your house? Like out of nowhere the other day? Like almost like tornado type?
Yes, it
Okay.
did.
Scariest shit ever. All right. So
Mhm.
that came out of nowhere. And I keep my eye on the weather. So this was like fucking weird for me to not understand that like the
We
sky
didn't
was
see
gonna
it
fall.
coming. Right. We didn't see it coming. It's crazy.
So tomatoes blew over, peas blew over,
Oh, man.
hydrangeas broke. I mean, just everything. I was like, this is gonna be terrible. Just
Yeah.
awful. I went out there, everything was like, we're fine.
So it didn't happen?
The peas blew over but they were nearly done. So I was like, it's okay. The tomatoes, we
Okay.
were able to just like prop back up and just
Mm-hmm.
push them back up.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, I mean, like all the melons are just like.
So they weathered the storm.
There were so many peppers that my pest control guy got a whole bag of peppers today. Like
Oh, wow.
a gallon-sized bag of peppers.
Oh, wow.
The herbs, same thing. I was just like, take this grocery bag and go because it was so much that I was scared that everything was going to go to seed and then it wouldn't keep growing. And I still got the whole rest of the summer. I've only made one jar of salsa.
Oh.
So I got 9 more to go.
Okay.
So yeah, but that's what's
Well, I'm so happy that it wasn't a catastrophe because it could have been.
Yes.
Because I saw your reels and I was like,
yeah, I was terrified, like
mm-hmm.
legitimately terrified because I was like, if everything blows over, am I willing to start over?
Yeah.
Like I was willing to start over when those peppers were dying because it was like, oh, it's still early. We can still figure it out. It's still early. It's still early. Now I'm not starting over. Like we just wait till the fall and just be done with it then because But
I hear you.
So what's been better for you?
Well, it's another week that's gone by.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Like every day, it's like just to get through a day, it's a blessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say, my trees, because we talked about my trees. I wouldn't say ad nauseum, but I love my little trees outside.
They're so cute.
They are, and they're growing. And I just love the fact that they're growing. But one of them was not. Like, I don't know how it happened. It just...
It's not the one that was pulled up, was it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
No, because that tree, I replaced it. I put it further in the back. Right?
Okay.
But I don't know how I missed this because it was fine until it wasn't. And so we were looking outside. Tommy said, you got a light-skinned tree out there. And it was dying. I don't know what happened that it died, but it literally died right before our eyes. It was just getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. So on Sunday, I just went and pulled that bad boy up, dropped it in the trash, and went to Lowe's and got me another one. I'm just not going to sit here and lament over a dead tree.
No.
So I got another one, and that is better.
Okay.
My son came for the weekend. It was a little chaotic at first, but it ended on a better note. I'll say that, right?
Better.
And so I was determined that I'm going to have a good relationship with my son.
And so you shall, right? Because
yes,
what you want, once you're
Once
back.
you back. Right.
What I understand about saying that now, though, is nobody said it was a clear path.
Right. You got to work at that shit. You
Ooh.
really do. And you have to, even when you feel like you're defeated, when you feel like this mofo ain't gonna learn nothing, you got to change that thought process.
Yep.
He'll figure it out.
You're
I'm
going to have
I'm
to.
I'm proclaiming. I'm
Mm-hmm.
declaring, I'm manifesting, I'm all of the things. I'm praying, I'm fasting. Like there are a lot of things that I'm working on doing just to have a better relationship with my son. So that it's been better. I have a determination more so than I ever have.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that's good. That's good. Speaking
Yeah.
of manifesting, I put out a whole video about manifesting yesterday because
Mm-hmm.
I still had not talked about my job, like at
Mm-hmm.
all. I don't know. But I was cleaning up some stuff and I found my original list of what I wanted to do, like what my
Mm-hmm.
options were. And I was like, huh, I haven't talked about this. Because I got to finally meet the people I work with in person this weekend.
Oh, so you never have?
Never had I met those people in person. It's always been on the computer. Always.
Oh. Well,
Never
did
had I
y'all
met them.
see each other on the computer?
Yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
like
okay. It just wasn't in person.
never, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
never.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to go to the National Center for Civil and Human Rights
Mm-hmm.
and view a movie screening, and then there was
Mm-hmm.
a panel discussion, and then like I just got to talk with all the people that I work with, so it was very cool.
That's
And
nice.
Drew and I went to the research center that I go to
Mm-hmm.
damn near every week,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was cool because he still hadn't been there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just I was like, huh, this is what manifesting looks like.
Well, what did he
Ta-da.
think about it?
He thought it was cool because they had a whole architecture section.
Okay.
So he was looking at all the like architecture history books and like the black architect books and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so he was just like, "Oh, this is neat." And then NPR's StoryCorps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard. It's basically this:
Mm-hmm.
two people sit down, ask each other questions that
Mm-hmm.
are related. So it could be two people that are like, one person had a baby 20 years
Mm-hmm.
ago and the other person
Mm-hmm.
is just now pregnant and they're like, I don't know what to do. How did you handle this? Whatever. Like they're in the
Okay.
same kind of circumstances.
Yes, yes.
Or it could be like mother and daughter or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we were talking to the people about that because he was like, well, this would be cool. And I was thinking, what are we going to ask each other? After 21 years, what is there to talk about? But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, well,
I'm glad you had that experience.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool. And all
Mm-hmm.
the people that I work with are very cool and super knowledgeable about genealogy and history and
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta and, just
Yeah.
all the moving parts. So,
So like minds were in the same space.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so cool when that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So
Well, let's get to this because I know you came across something and that's what triggered this episode for you. So let's
yes, ma'am.
first of all tell people what you read, where you read it, what you saw, all that.
Okay. So let me see if I can go back to it real quick.
Okay.
So Shirley D.P. Austin on Marriage Incorporated, Life, Love, and Marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give her a shout out today. She said, as believers, we seek to be Christ-like. Even a non-believer seeks to be patient, kind, loving, forgiving, disciplined, etc. So question, how do you think this will happen? And then she said, answer, by showing up when it's time, right? Showing up when it's time to show patience, kindness, love, forgiveness, etc. Those muscles will never be strong if you keep breaking under pressure, if you keep being reactionary instead of responsive, if you keep being reactionary, being tit for tat, stonewalling, gaslighting, being defensive, etc., you'll never experience true joy in your marriage and what it feels like to experience peace that passes all understanding. And then she said, remember, the enemy wants to break you down. God wants to build you up. You choose which way you will go. And I thought about that. And when I was thinking about that, I thought about my son this weekend. So it wasn't just marriages, it's relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about don't do this. And I hate when you do that. And, we say those things, but the person hearing it on the receiving end gets defensive.
Yeah.
If they start working on how they respond instead of reacting to what's being said, things could change. Because if you respond in a way that's loving, it really invites the other person to do the same thing. Right. And
Yeah.
so it's like showing up. When we're presented with a way to change instead of doing the same thing, what if we actually showed up?
How, how do you get to a point where you that, accept that invitation or that request from your partner, though? Like, what do you think has to happen for you to finally go, you know what? Maybe they'll stop asking me this, or this 12 times or once a year or whatever. Like, what if I just try it?
Hmm.
Or, like, how do you get to that point? Like, what's your suggestion? Like, how do you get to the point where you finally go, okay, maybe I'll think
Um, I'm thinking about how I'm feeling, right?
about it. Mm-hmm.
If I am feeling annoyed by a way that my person is showing up, like I'm trying to use an example. I'll use an example of Tommy not making the bed up.
Mm-hmm.
If I get annoyed every time he doesn't make up the bed, who is really getting that? I am.
Yeah.
He does not benefit from me getting annoyed. He doesn't feel my annoyance.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I decide he might not ever make up the bed, I don't know. I can tell him I would appreciate you making up the bed. But if he doesn't, who is going to benefit from the bed being made up?
Mm-hmm.
He might, but I really am because that's my love language. So
Yeah.
I'm going to start taking care of me. That's really what it boils down to. Like, really start recognizing if you get mad, who's going to receive your anger?
Okay. Okay. So, guess what I'm trying to figure out is, how do you how do you communicate this in a way that still expresses that you are annoyed as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
but isn't an annoyance?
To the
You know
other
what I'm saying?
person?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't know how they're going to receive that because they can receive that as a nag every time.
Yes.
And so I can't be responsible. Like I think we take it on as though we get frustrated if they perceive it as a nag when we have to let
Mm-hmm.
that go,
Mm.
right? We still have to say it though. Like I would really appreciate you making up the bed, man. And then when they do make it up, and I'm just using this as an example, thank you so much
Mm-hmm.
because we have to notice when they are doing the smallest of things that is a win or is a thing that brings us joy. So if they do the smallest thing, if we thank them for it, I think the hope is that they'll continue to do it.
Right. Guess you
And
have
and
to just see,
yeah, look for it. It's catching someone doing what you desire instead of catching them when they're doing stuff that you don't like.
or waiting on them to do what you don't like.
Right. Because when that happens, you're actually getting back what you put out.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you want wants you back. So I want to catch them in the act of doing something wrong. Well, you're going to get that back.
Right. Right.
So if we want them to do something different, it's us looking for them doing something different.
Okay, I get that. I'll give you that. Mm. I think I'm pondering so much stuff about
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Because I think about, like, in all the, not even just my marriage, just any kind of relationship, I always feel
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm hyper reactive, hyper
Mhm.
responsive, very highly emotional. But I've told you before, it's because I am interacting with a bunch of people that are introverted, a bunch of people that are
Mhm.
like, they have a wall up, a bunch of people
Right.
who, you know, at some point they were told, like, toughen up, or
Right.
no one cares about your emotions, or we don't have time for that, or whatever. So they're just like, they're not expressive like I
Mhm.
am.
Mhm.
I am
Right.
like, you know exactly how I feel.
Right. Right.
um, but it's not helpful to me to say what I need, say what I want all the time because how it's conveyed, yes, comes out as a nag, comes out as
Mhm.
a whine, comes out as a just an emotional reaction.
Mhm.
And it makes me feel crazy
Right.
because there's the other person who I heard something today. It was like, um, they're like devoid of these emotions because they have like attachment issues
Mhm.
and avoidance issues
Mhm.
of like
Mhm.
they've been told these things,
Mhm.
so they avoid their emotions at all costs,
Mhm.
and it makes their partner feel crazy because their
Yeah.
partner is like, "Why aren't you feeling? Why aren't
Right.
you
Right.
expressing?"
Yeah.
Instead of just realizing like they don't have that. That's not in them.
Well, once you know it, do you ask like get curious? Like what's happening when you do this? Like we just actually say that kind of thing.
I think in a lot of cases I have, but I think, that defense thing comes up because again,
Mhm.
you gotta keep that wall up. You gotta keep that
Mhm.
avoidance up, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. As a listener, has this happened to y'all? Like you have this situation where the other person always views what you ask as a nag, or their response makes you think that it's a nag? Like, I don't know, because that's definitely how I feel. It's like
Mhm.
either their response makes me feel like it's a nag, or their lack of response makes me feel like I'm nagging. Even though I'm just like you said, like, can you make the bed? Can you do the thing? Or how do
Mhm.
you feel about whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning because
Mm-hmm.
I ain't there yet. I'm definitely learning to still make a request
Mm-hmm.
because if I don't make a request, then it's saying that I'm okay with how things are, right? And
Right.
then at the same time, I'm learning to measure myself, like
Mm-hmm.
to check in to see, Lori, are you annoyed right now? Because if you're annoyed right now, they're going to hear the annoyance. They're not going to hear your request.
I get that. I get
That's
that.
just me deciding to practice that.
Mm.
I also recognize that what I know, other people might not know. That is very frustrating, I will say, because
Ooh.
I feel alone a lot of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, fuck, like, where do I go? Do I just go on a island by myself?
Mm-hmm.
I really
Mm-hmm.
get frustrated because it's not just sometimes in a marriage or with our children, it's with people.
Yeah.
And then the question is, do y'all give a damn? Do you care? And I can't go there because I have to remember that, Lori, you live in this world, I'm gonna say alone in a lot of ways because it's the world according to Lori. The
Yeah.
world according to them might be different. They might not think about how I perceive things. They might perceive things something, totally different than the way I'm perceiving it. So I have to breathe.
Okay. Your frustration. There's a lady on TikTok. I will find her page. I will shout her out. Next, when I post this episode, I'm going to shout out this lady. But
Hmm.
she has a what the fuck journal.
Okay.
In all those moments that she is just like, fuck for whatever, she just pulls her
Hmm.
journal out and she writes what the fuck.
Hmm.
And she just
Hmm.
keeps writing it until that is like kind of released.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
much so that I
Yeah.
had to go and get a journal so I could start doing that because I was like, that's probably going to help. Because there's so
Yeah.
much time, so many times there's like, I want to talk or I want to do or I want to
Hmm.
whatever or I
Hmm.
see something or whatever. And it just makes me say, what
What the
the
fuck?
fuck?
Right, right, right.
So to be able to just write that out and like not have to, because I'm not great at journaling.
Hmm.
I thought I would be, but I just am not. But to do something like that is still journaling in my head
Right.
because I don't have to write out all my emotions and how I feel. I could just keep writing what the fuck.
Yeah, you can.
repeatedly.
If it helps, right? Like,
Yes, I feel like
it
it's
could.
going to help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can. And even for those out there, you got to ask yourself, how can you be relieved? What can you do to relieve yourself when that frustration comes? Because again, you shouting at somebody or cussing your kids out or yelling at them, they're not going to hear what you asking.
Nope.
They just not. And they're going to perceive it as an act. So if we practice those things over and over and over, if they hear it, they're ready for it. They're ready for the nag.
Yeah.
And then boom, the resistance goes up and you're not going to get what you want. We got to do something different. So I
On
think
both
this,
ends. On both
right.
ends, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I feel like if you know that the nag is coming, do the fucking thing then.
You would think.
You would think. But maybe you just like being nagged. I don't know.
I don't have a clue unless you ask that person in a time when everything is calm. Like, hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, but that's gonna turn from it being calm to not being calm.
It could, or it might not.
Yeah.
Right. Like you might catch a time when they're like, I just want to aggravate you. Or or I really just don't care. Or it's not as important to me as it is to you. And then it goes to, well, if it's important to me, can it be important to you?
Right.
Because really, that is the relationship. We're teaching people to have empathy, because I think that's what it boils down to. People lack empathy. They don't care how it bothers you.
Right.
You don't matter. Especially kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess it just, yes, we're all in this world by ourselves, but it's these interactions where we have to interact with people that I don't understand why we're not trying to have peace. I don't know. It's
I'm about to say something that might shock some people.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we're getting to a place where you have people who care and people who don't care. And it's like, can I just remove myself from people who don't care? Like, get to a place where you just, I don't care who it is, right? But that's what we are really dealing with, because growing up, I'm going to just ask you this. When you were growing up and your mom was yelling, did you care about what she was yelling about?
First of all, do I remember my mom yelling?
Anybody yelling or chastising you? Did you care about what she was chastising you about?
Yes.
You did.
My aunt was the yeller, not necessarily my mom. And
Okay.
yes, because I have extreme people pleasing tendencies.
I hear you.
As the baby, as the large age gap, as the different father, as the just different, and always being reminded that I was different. Yeah, I gave a fuck about what everybody was saying. If you were yelling, if you were whispering, if you were writing it down.
In the moment, did you share with them, like, oh, I'm sorry, right in the moment? Or did you resist?
No, I think I've just always been a crier.
Okay.
I've never had where I was just angry. I think I was angry a lot of times because just not, I didn't know how to communicate. I still struggle with how to communicate a lot of times. I've always been socially awkward. Especially in situations where I feel hyper emotional or reactive to something, and somebody else is just like stonewalling it, then I'm like, yo, I'm crazy at this point, because why is this affecting me? What's wrong with me that this is even like doing anything to me? And they're just perfectly even, or like my mom was not that I remember my mom ever being a yeller. No.
Well, both my parents were
her
yellers.
Sister, okay. Her sister took up, all the oxygen in the room.
Damn.
So, till her last breath. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
so as I think about how I grew up, one, I didn't like people yelling. It scared the bejeebies out of me. I was like instantly startled, especially my dad. He had a big bass voice.
Okay.
And if he if he went an octave up from that, oh my God, it was just like the world was coming to an end.
Rattling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so when he yelled and I heard my name in the yell, oh my God, I just thought life was going to come to an end. Over time, I knew he was just, all bark and no bite. But I was afraid. And when I'm afraid, the secondary emotion is anger, you know?
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I'm afraid initially, and then I'm angry.
Okay.
And so with that anger, it's like, I ain't doing this. I mean, I'll do it, right? Because I have to. I don't want to get my ass beat because we had beatings back in the day. We had belts and switches and shit.
Okay.
Like,
See, that wasn't, I've never gotten a whooping.
oh girl, what? God bless
Again,
you.
I'm not gonna say I was like the model child, but that's just not. I never had a whooping. Let's just put it like that. Now, did I do dumb shit when I got older? Yes. Did I do
Yeah.
dumb shit probably because I never got a whooping? Probably yes. Did I do like life risking shit because no one was ever, my parents weren't like hyper over parenting. You know, like they weren't like over corrective. I
Yeah.
don't know how to put it like that. So
Right.
I just didn't get a bunch of lessons of
Mhm.
like, like Drew will just run down all the life lessons. I'm like, I've never in my life heard any of that,
Oh wow.
of like, not everybody likes kids and you're supposed to be, seen, not necessarily heard all the
Mhm.
time and
Mhm.
shit. Nah.
Oh, so they didn't tell you that. Yeah.
For what? I wasn't talking anyway.
Right. Oh, I
I
see.
just, because I always was worried about doing something right.
I hear you.
So
So
there
you were
was no
consumed with that.
space. Yeah, there was no space for me to like say or do anything anyway, because
Mhm.
if I said or did anything anyway, somebody was going to make fun of me for it. Somebody was going to have something to say about it. It was going to
Mhm.
be something. So it was just like, I would just be quiet. I would stay in my room. I wouldn't want to necessarily be around people because it was like, everybody's
Mhm.
got something to say. I don't want you to say anything to me.
Mhm.
Now, was that met with like, oh, I'm just being evil, or you know how she is, or whatever?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's still, regardless, it still didn't work out in my favor.
I hear you. I hear
So
you.
I still have all this trauma around people pleasing.
I feel you. See, and I grew up vindictive then. So I
Mm.
grew up like, okay, you yelling at me? I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get your ass back. But it wasn't like I'm saying it like that, but it was
Mm-hmm.
still that way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make up my room when I feel like it. Or are you
Okay.
yelling at me? I'm gonna show you that I don't give a damn. You know, and then that carried over into my adulthood, even in my like first marriage.
Okay.
Are you yelling? That's what we doing now? Okay, I got you.
Okay.
And I didn't know the difference of, like I didn't understand vindictiveness, right? So it kind of going back to this nag, right? The receiver of the nag, either
Mm-hmm.
they understand that I love this person and I want to let them know I hear you, you know, or you know what? You keep nagging, I'm gonna keep doing the same thing, not realizing that they're asking for something. They're really
Mm.
asking for you to be a different way, for you to have more compassion, but you're not showing compassion by asking for compassion, you
Right.
know? And so
Right.
that's why I'm saying if we can check ourselves, like if we're yelling at our children, check in what you're doing. Are you really putting out what you want back? Are you yelling at your children thinking their children are going to be obedient to you? That they want to be obedient to you when you're yelling at them?
I would also say like too, even if you're not yelling, what you say and how you say it it makes a huge difference. Let me just say
It
that.
yes, yes. If you're not, even if you're not yelling, and you say these snarky ass comments like, uh, what you think, or like you're using your attitude with it, or being sarcastic, like
Mm-hmm.
your children still receive the sarcasm, and
Yeah.
it hits differently on that end because guess what? How would you feel if they did it to you?
Right.
If your child treated you like you treat them at certain instances, you would probably try to slap the shit out of them, like, or or something else. Maybe you're not the abusive type like the old
Yeah.
school parents be, but you would
But
do something else, you know.
yeah, backhanded comments or speaking like horrible shit over your child because that's what your parent did, or just any of that. Like, I think also we have to realize that people have the tools that they have at the time that they have them.
Hmm. But we have better
But
tools, and that's which again, Sylvia, that's what I'm going back to. If you're presented with a way to be better, practice doing better. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
I'll give you that.
practice, because you keep yelling at your children, or you keep saying this to your wife or your husband, you're not gonna get what you want back.
Hmm.
You're just
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
You
You
know, just
or
you're
you're
gonna
gonna
get
be
the same
alone,
thing.
or you're gonna be alone, and that
Or
goes
you,
to
yeah.
like siblings, cousins, aunties, everybody that you have to interact, people that you work with. If
Mm-hmm.
you talk wild to people, or if you being snarky with people, and they're not like matching your energy with that, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
this, if your relationship is like, oh, let's have a snark off, whatever. That's one thing. Like you just playful banter. That's just banter. But if
Mm-hmm.
you coming at somebody this way every time, like it's not
Yeah.
the relationship that you have with that person starting from that point, it could either keep going down, or you have a long way to repair that relationship.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
also understand. I, okay, something just made sense. Remember when we were talking to Phoenix and she was like not having a relationship with people, and how we were saying like when people die, like families just scatter?
Mm-hmm.
I get it now.
Okay.
Because those people might still be the glue that is holding the family together, good, bad,
Mm-hmm.
or other. And once
Mm-hmm.
they are gone, it's like, I don't have to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get it.
Yes. Yes.
Now
Because
I
you
get
got the
it.
matriarch, you got the patriarch in the family who's
Mm-hmm.
like, listen, don't fight with each other. Just, come to dinner. And they do it on the strength of mom, or they do it on the strength of dad. But in the
Mm-hmm.
back of their mind, they are like, I don't have to put up with this shit.
Mm-mm.
So you're
I,
absolutely right.
I get why so many people don't interact with their family. Like I see so many videos about that on TikTok of
Mm-hmm.
people who are like, I don't, them not my people.
Right.
Like my aunt that used to take up all the oxygen in the room, she say there's a difference between family and relatives.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she ever included herself with that sometimes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, because we can be hypocritical too. Right. Like, for example, you telling your children to wash the dishes after they use the dish, wash the dish, but you set your shit up on the countertop and you don't wash it.
Mm-hmm.
They watch you, and
Mm-hmm.
then you say, don't do what I say, or don't do what I do, do what I say. That's bullshit, y'all. Come
Mm-hmm.
on. You're
Yeah.
like, let's stop being hypocritical. And if we want our children to practice certain behaviors, let's practice them ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's that
It's
simple.
it's a lot to take on if you don't practice it though. Like it's just a lot. And
Well,
I
if
get
you,
it.
yeah,
I get it.
but if you don't practice it, what you're doing is you're practicing the other stuff, and you're going to keep getting what you keep putting out.
Yeah. Do you think that also too a lot of this is because people don't think that they deserve the peace and the true joy? Like somebody
Maybe.
robbed them of that, and they
Yeah.
don't, even if those people are long dead and gone, they're
Mm-hmm.
still harboring those words, those actions, those
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. I agree. I think deep, yes, girl, you hit the nail right on the head. I think inside, if they really told the truth, they would say that they don't believe that they deserve better.
Yeah.
And so it starts with you actually affirming yourself. I do deserve better. And how do you
Mm-hmm.
deserve better? By treating myself better. Because the thing that you want for somebody else to do it yourself. Like, for instance, when my children, and I had adult children living in the house at one point, and sometimes they wouldn't wash the dishes, you know, after I
Mm-hmm.
told them several times to wash the dishes. And I modeled that. I washed my own dishes. I said, listen, wash your dishes, right? Then I started washing dishes. I said, and I told them, I said, listen, if you leave dishes in this house, I want a clean kitchen. I'm going to make sure my kitchen is clean. And somehow they started doing it. It was wild. But they started making sure the kitchen, they didn't want to leave the kitchen dirty ever anymore. Like, because I said, if I see these dishes, I'm going to wash them. Just know you didn't do it. Somebody did it.
Which is just worse. It's so much worse to have that on you of like, oh boy. It's like I don't want to say an omen, but it's like
yeah.
you're gonna have some bad juju if you don't wash these dishes now. Because it's been like spoken, you know?
Right. And that's the intent. Because I said, I'm not going to yell anymore. I'm not going to be upset anymore because all it's doing is hurting myself. And I want a clean kitchen. I deserve a clean kitchen. You see what I'm saying? It goes back to my level of deserving. I deserve the best. And if I'm not going to get it from you, guess who's going to do it? I'm going to do it. And I ain't going to say shit else. So don't ask me for a damn thing. So that's where you go. You're like,
see,
don't
I knew
ask me
something
for
else.
shit.
I was like, it's got to be something, some end all be all thing. Okay,
Yeah, don't
that's
ask
why
me
they
for,
wash them damn
don't ask me
dishes.
for money. Don't ask me for nothing. Because if I ask you for something and you don't do it, what you expect from me? I am not the
I
one.
got you.
Not today, not
sense.
tomorrow, not ever. And again, it came from me to saying to myself, I desire what I deserve. I deserve what I desire. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I value myself. And if
Okay,
you're
but
not going
like,
to value me,
how how do you begin to value yourself so much that you that is it, like you outwardly portray that at all times, like, because I think there's so many people who, I'll take myself, I value myself. There's a lot of shit I'm not gonna deal with. I'll give
mm-hmm,
myself
mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm,
But I feel like sometimes I could hold back, or I could put myself back, or I could do
mm-hmm,
whatever. Like
mm-hmm,
I still have the I'll get happy later. I still have that a little bit. I
mm-hmm.
still a little.
But what is
Now,
later?
shit, I don't know when later is, but I also am balancing that with, as of right now, this whole of like putting Sylvia towards the center of like, this is shit I'm not gonna deal with. Just like how I was telling you, like, I will cut these locks
mm-hmm,
and not
mm-hmm,
fucking deal with it because it will
mm-hmm,
drive me fucking crazy. But
mm-hmm,
that's myself. You get what
mm-hmm,
I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
It's when it comes to other people, I'm still like, I don't know. I don't know.
mm-hmm.
How do you get to a point of being like, I said what the fuck I said for any and everybody? You know, even when we were talking to Phoenix and she was like, I don't care if it's your mama, my child, whoever. Like,
She's talking about the Bugetto Gardner, y'all. Y'all might not
yes,
know who Phoenix is, but
yes.
Bugetto Gardner, you know.
But how do you get to that point? Like that proclamation just is spoken so much that everybody's like, you know what? We should wash the dish.
Mhm. Say it one time and then
Okay.
say it again. And when you're prompted, say it again. And that's what I'm talking about now is practicing saying the things that you want. Like, I'm not saying this again. And then don't. When you say that, or I said it once, that's enough, right? It's that. And remembering too, when somebody you care about somebody and they're showing you that they don't care,
Mm-hmm.
say it. I don't feel like you care.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
We're not trying to be hateful. We're sharing about how we feel. Our feelings matter, just like theirs does. Because we care. We care about
Mm-hmm.
their feelings. And if we can care about somebody else's feelings, then we can care about our own. And I understand that parents put their children and other people before them. We got to stop that shit because it ain't helpful. And when they grow up, guess what? If you show your children that you're the last one, they're going to teach you that you're the last one when they get older
Shit.
because you're teaching them that you don't matter.
I'll give you that.
And you're saying to yourself that you don't matter.
Yeah.
But you have to teach your children that you matter along with them. Just like for Christmas, they get all these damn gifts. What gifts are they giving anybody? Teach your children how to give other people gifts, because if they grow up not giving and all they do is receive, you're teaching them that they're entitled and that nobody else deserves, but they do.
Mm,
It's the
I'll give you
little
that.
things that happen over and over again that become a habit.
Yeah.
Make your children clean up their damn rooms and them dishes.
She
Hmm.
not playing about these dishes, y'all.
I'm so serious. Wake their asses up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I bet you they won't do it again.
Lori. Okay. Okay.
I'm
Now are you
serious.
crossing over to like, well, I guess
What?
it's like nothing.
Okay,
Nothing.
because it's a discomfort. Like if you tell them once and they don't do it, and you know they hurt you. You know they hurt you. They know they hurt you,
Yeah.
and they found something else to do. They ain't
Yeah.
doing nothing when they sleep. Because it becomes. But if we teach them once, because that's not abuse. You're not beating them. You're just
No.
waking them up, and because at a time when they could have, they didn't. And so you're saying, listen, get up. I want to show you something.
Okay, make sure you say it like that.
Hmm.
Not screaming, yelling.
Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Everything again is practiced hopefully with love, because if we're coming with the anger, they're gonna receive that anger. Get your shit together first. You
Mm-hmm.
frustrated? Breathe. Even if you have to go outside, I don't know, walk, take it down.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sally or Jen or Joe, whoever they are. Hey, what's wrong, Mom? I just want to show you something. They go into the kitchen. You remember those dishes I asked you to watch? There they go, right there. But Mom, I got a test in the morning. It's okay. Test will be there in the morning when you get back up. You washing these dishes right now. If
Okay.
we have to teach our children, and I know it'll be a discomfort for us, but if we do it now, they won't suffer later, and we won't suffer later.
I'll give you that.
And they will appreciate you, I guarantee, because they ain't gonna like it. They're not gonna like it, and they might be annoyed at first.
Okay. Last question before we go.
The
What's
alternative.
y- what's your take on all the gentle parenting? This whole trend of gentle parenting.
As it relates to what, not disciplining or what?
Not necessarily not disciplining, but like I've just seen so many videos of people. They're like, they're trying not to yell at their kids. They try not to put their hands on their kids. They try not to do all these things. But all of them are like, I'm not a gentle parent. I'm not going to be able to do it. Is that saying that they don't have, like you're saying, like, you need to take a deep breath, you need to go for a walk, you need to do whatever
Hmm.
because they're too reactionary?
Yeah, I would say you gotta taper it down. Like you gotta pipe it down,
Hmm.
because your anger is really a form of fear. And that fear is, I'm afraid that my children might do X, Y, and Z. Like I'm angry because I, I'm I'm afraid of how my children might become, right? But if we take that fear out and we look at what you want your children to be, I want you to be a responsible adult.
Hmm.
Lead with what you want. We really have to rehearse what we want.
I'll
I
give you
want
that.
you to be responsible. This is a part of you being responsible. And sometimes we have to say that over and over like a broken record, right?
Yeah,
This is part of you being responsible. But why I got to do part of you being responsible? You want to be a responsible adult? This is how you do it. You want to
I'll give
grow
you
up
that.
and then you could take them into neighborhoods of irresponsible people. This is how irresponsible people act. Do you want
Hmm.
that? My dad used to do that a lot. He used to take me into neighborhoods of people who behaved a certain way. And he said, "You want me to drop you off here?" I know that was not a really good tactic, but I was, listen, I
Holy
had,
shit.
I had some interesting parents, but I'm going to tell you, it really helped out because it really changed my dynamic and how I thought about myself and how I behaved, you
Yeah,
know.
I I think we all have something that we take from our parents that are like, okay, that was helpful.
Mhm.
Like my mom being hardworking, I get it now.
Mhm.
Like, well, I got it back then. I mean, I was able to work multiple jobs and take all my classes at the same time because it was like, this is just what you do. Like, she's capable of doing it, you're capable of doing it.
Mhm.
Or being like self sufficient to a fault sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like,
Mhm.
but I get it. you got to learn how to depend on you.
Right.
It's
Right.
good to have a partner. It's nice to have a partner. It's wonderful to have a partner. But what do you do if you can't have a partner or you
Right.
don't have a partner anymore
Mm-hmm.
or that partnership doesn't work out? Whatever it is, like, what do you do? So, yeah, I'm still working on like my dad, but that's a whole nother
Yes.
scenario.
So this soft way of, would you say polite parenting, or would you say it was
Gentle parenting.
gentle
No.
parenting?
Yeah, I think it was gentle
Yeah.
parenting.
I think
Yeah.
it's beautiful to be a gentle parent with consequences. Because you can
Oh, okay.
say, hi, Joey, right? Joey, all this week, and you could probably keep a tally every time I ask you 5 times, to do X, Y, and Z. And you remember when I said I'm only going to ask once? Well, I just wanted to count and see how many times when I asked you once, you didn't do it.
Mm,
So you're on restriction for 5 weeks or whatever. For every time you got a week, or for every time you got a day. I don't know. It's time for you to give me that phone, or something that lets them know. I don't think it needs to go overboard. Say 5 months, because kids will forget. You want the
Parents
act
would forget.
right. You want it to be something that they get it, like, and it
Right.
hits home, such that they want to do differently. You don't want them to resist you and retaliate. Or you're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to provoke your children to be vindictive, right? You really want them to recognize, oh my goodness, I did do that. You
Okay.
hopefully you get your children to own you, or anybody. It's not just your children. I don't want this to turn into this parenting damn show or episode. But it's about
No
letting
kids.
people know what you want in return. And
Mm-hmm.
how you talk to them is really going to determine what you get back from them.
Right.
So
That's a
if
good
we
takeaway.
right. Yeah. That.
Good takeaway.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you taking away, Sylvia?
Um, really it's the whole like how you approach the ask. That's
Mhm.
the difference. That for me, it's because we've talked about this before about like I want to do this
Mm,
thing or how I
mhm.
want to do this thing. And it's just like, no, we're not doing the thing, or it's pulling teeth to do the thing. But if you ease it in there, or if you lead by the example, or you
Mhm.
don't, if I don't make this grand statement of this is
Mhm.
what we're going to do,
Right.
then it could get done. Just,
Yeah.
it's kind of like intermittent fasting versus like counting calories.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
count calories, you're just like, this is some bullshit. I'm not doing this. But if you just say, okay, I'm only eating between
Mhm.
12 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Mhm.
However you fit it in is however you fit it in, but it
Right.
has to stop between 12 and 8. You
Right.
can eat whatever, but it's got to be
Right.
between 12. That's completely different than
Totally.
I can only have, like, keto. I can only have 20 grams of sugar the whole entire, oh my God, the
Mhm.
difficulty in doing keto. But it's the same. How you approach it, how you
Mhm.
lead with it is going to be the difference in the response or the result, or even if it will or will not get started.
Absolutely. And you're
Yeah.
right. That's an awesome ass takeaway. You know, how do you lead with a thing is what
Hmm.
you get back. So if
Yeah.
you're leading with love and patience and kindness, you're going to get that back.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, this was quite interesting.
Listen,
Very interesting. Well, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do something with this episode, but do not keep it for yourself. Please write us a review so that way other people can find the show as well. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
bye. That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
And I'm Sylvia Johnson, and you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagan Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
We want to hear what's been better for you. To be a guest on the show, send us an email to questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. Or you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at What's Been Better Podcast.
Thanks for listening.